Real about this.
Now listen,
what is the plan to stop the migration?
I think you've got to reform the immigration laws.
Why can't they do it?
They're a mess.
Why can't we do it?
There you go.
Why can't we do it?
There you go. Because the Republicans have walked away from having legitimate conversations.
So it's the Republicans' fault.
Who runs the House of Representatives right now?
Okay, so they can't do a deal?
Hold on, let me say. Did Donald Trump have the House and the Senate and the White House for the first 2 years he was in? Where was the Donald Trump Immigration Reform Act of 17 or 18?
There was very little illegal immigration.
Oh, was it?
Under Donald Trump. That second year there was a pop, and then they controlled it.
Roll the tape. Migrant caravans under Trump. But these are the same laws.
You smashed 2 years in a row of records.
Hold on a second.
2 years of records in a row.
Let's go chronologically. You said, why isn't anything happening? Did anything happen in 17 and 18 when President Trump had the control of Congress? Where is the Donald Trump Immigration Reform Act? This law that lets asylees in now was true.
It's a disaster. They're sleeping on the streets all over the place. They're going to bankrupt the city. Your Democrat mayor even said it. They're destroying the city. Why do the Democrats have such a problem with crime?
We don't like crime.
Doesn't seem like you don't like it. Seems like you love it.
It's Democrats. They're the ones that created the cops program to more cops on the street. Crime came down dramatically.
You defunded the police, and it's a disaster everywhere.
What do you mean? Reduce the funding of police?
Yeah, you defunded the police in a bunch of these metropolitan areas. It's a mess.
Well, defund is kind of hot. That kind of implies you stop funding them. I mean, they're big agencies. Some of them took cuts. Education took cuts. A lot of things took cuts during COVID.
Crime's up. It's crazy out here. Would you go in the subway here?
Crime is actually down in New York.
Well, it's down from what? Last year, which was almost an all-time high.
You think Rudy Giuliani did a good job against crime?
He did a decent job from where he came in from.
It's 40% lower than it was in the year he left.
Yeah, but it was so low when everything was coming up. And then in 2020, 2021, 2022, this year, things aren't good, Anthony. People are getting pushed into the subway. Would you go on the subway?
I do it all the time. It's not a very substantive critique, but crime is actually down. But I believe it's too high.
Okay, we can play those games all day.
Anthony Weiner has always been a loser, who's always been in scandals his whole life. The man is famous for texting underage women porn. He is famous for having a picture of himself with his little chest that is so not masculine at all over the internet because he was sending it to girls. He's a disgusting man. And the fact that he is even on television still is pretty sad, and Jesse Waters is exposing him for the idiot that he is. Funny choice of words to say exposed, but that's exactly what he did. Jesse Waters asked him quite plainly why New York is in such a mess, and why the Democrats are in disarray, and why Joe Biden is such a disaster. And Anthony Weiner, just like a good little Democrat, toes the party line and says that all is fine and say that Eric Adams is doing a better job than Rudy Giuliani on crime, which is hilarious. Anyone who actually believes the things that Anthony Weiner is saying is completely delusional. Look, crime in New York is at all-time highs. I don't care what Anthony Weiner says about it. They don't even prosecute crimes anymore. You cannot even know the real numbers. Back in 2000, when Giuliani was in charge, they actually arrested criminals. Now, it's a free-for-all. New York does not feel safe, and having some creep go on Fox News and try to convince them otherwise won't work.